You've been feeling tired, but not the normal kind. It's that heavy, unexplainable exhaustion that hits you even when you've done nothing wrong. Your mind can't focus. Your energy feels drained. Everything feels louder, heavier, harder. And deep down, you know something is shifting. What if this isn't burnout? What if this is God trying to warn his chosen one, you, about a divine change that's already in motion? You've been feeling a weight you can't explain, a tiredness that goes deeper than your muscles, deeper than your mind, deeper than anything you can put into words. And what if I told you this isn't weakness, but a message? Because sometimes God doesn't speak in thunder, lightning, or sudden revelation. Sometimes his voice hides inside something subtle, unsettling, and impossible to ignore. Exhaustion. Not the exhaustion that comes from overworking, but the exhaustion that appears out of nowhere, right when your life is about to shift. When a chosen one is standing at the edge of a breakthrough, when a door is about to open, or when heaven is quietly redirecting their destiny, their spirit feels the tremor long before their mind catches up. It's that strange heaviness, that sudden lack of interest in what once felt familiar, that spiritual fatigue that whispers, "Pay attention, something is moving." And in this video, you will uncover 7 rare signs, 7 spiritual codes, that reveal your tiredness is not a random phase or an emotional slump. It's God preparing you, shielding you, and repositioning you for a divine shift that has already begun. Stay alert, because once you understand these signs, you'll never look at your exhaustion the same way again. Before we dive in, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and comment 99 below. Spiritually, 99 represents the moment right before completion, the final step before what God has promised becomes real. Commenting it aligns you with that shift. Let's begin. Sign 1. Your spirit is detecting what your eyes can't see yet. There are moments when life looks perfectly ordinary on the outside, yet something inside you feels strangely heavy, unsettled, or stretched beyond its limits. You wake up tired even after resting. Your mind feels foggy even when nothing stressful is happening. Your emotions start responding to things you can't logically explain. And this is where many chosen ones get confused, because nothing in their environment seems wrong, yet every part of their inner world feels like it's shifting. But this is exactly how divine transitions begin. Long before God changes your circumstances, he heightens your spiritual sensitivity. Your spirit starts picking up signals, vibrations, and divine movements that your physical eyes have not yet caught up to. It's like standing in a silent room, but feeling the floor tremble from something approaching in the distance. You sense motion, even when everything looks still. You feel pressure, even when nothing is visibly pushing. You detect a shift, even when life appears unchanged. And that exhaustion you're carrying? It's not laziness. It's not lack of discipline. It's the spiritual equivalent of your soul bracing for impact, a new season, a new responsibility, a new identity. God allows this exhaustion to settle in because it forces you to slow down enough to notice what your spirit has already noticed. The atmosphere around you is no longer the same. Something invisible is rearranging itself. The path you are walking is beginning to bend, and heaven is gently pulling you toward alignment with what's coming next. This kind of exhaustion is a spiritual early warning system. A divine tap on the shoulder that says, stay awake, pay attention, your life is about to evolve. And as this realization sinks in, you can almost feel it. A quiet anticipation rising in your chest. Because deep down, you know this tiredness is not an ending. It's the quiet heartbeat of something about to begin. Sign 2. Your energy rejects environments God is removing you from. There comes a moment when the places that once felt comfortable start feeling suffocating, and the people you used to tolerate effortlessly suddenly drain your spirit just by being in the same room. You don't choose this shift. Your energy chooses it for you, and this is one of the clearest signs that God is pulling you out of an environment that no longer fits the version of you he is shaping. It's not that you've become antisocial or distant. It's that your spirit can no longer inhale what God is trying to exhale from your life. When a chosen one is being prepared for a new chapter, the old vibrations become too heavy to hold. Conversations feel empty. Routines feel pointless. Interactions that once felt normal begin to leave you feeling strangely tired, as if your soul is whispering, this is not where you belong anymore. Exhaustion becomes a compass, pointing you away from what is expired and toward what is divine. And here's the part most people never understand. God doesn't always remove you with a dramatic door slamming. Sometimes He removes you quietly, by making the old atmosphere feel too heavy for your spirit to carry. Your energy begins rejecting environments long before your mind has the courage to walk away. Suddenly, the noise of certain people becomes unbearable, not because you dislike them, but because your spirit recognizes that their season in your life is ending. Old habits lose their flavor, old patterns lose their grip, and the more you try to stay where God is calling you out of, the more drained, irritated, and disconnected you feel. This is not emotional instability, it's divine misalignment revealing itself. You're outgrowing spaces that were never meant to hold your future. And the exhaustion is simply heaven's way of nudging you toward a new frequency. Pay attention to this kind of fatigue. It's not here to hurt you. It's here to guide you. Because the moment you realize your energy is rejecting the old, something deep inside you begins to anticipate the new. And that is where the shift starts gaining momentum. Sign 3. God is slowing you down, so you don't walk into the wrong door. There are seasons when your strength suddenly drops, your momentum disappears, and every attempt to move forward feels strangely blocked. You wake up ready to push through your plans, yet something inside you whispers, "Not today." And while the world might label this as laziness, burnout, or lack of motivation, the truth is far more spiritual and far more intentional. Fatigue is not always an attack. Sometimes it is divine interference. When a chosen one is moving too fast toward a door that is not meant for them, God will quietly pull the brakes on their spirit. He won't shout. He won't argue. Instead, He lets the exhaustion settle in just long enough to keep you from stepping into a path that would sabotage everything He's preparing. It's His way of saying, "This direction looks promising, but it will drain you. Slow down. Pause. Let me guide you." You may not realize it in the moment, but that sudden heaviness is protection. That mental fog is a shield. That inability to force yourself into certain situations is heaven blocking you from a trap disguised as an opportunity. God sees conversations you're not supposed to have. He sees partnerships that look harmless but would derail your growth. He sees environments that appear safe on the surface but hold spiritual consequences you're not equipped to handle. And because chosen ones tend to move with passion, intensity, and urgency, God sometimes has to slow them down, not as punishment, but as preservation. Every time you feel that unexplainable fatigue stopping you from going somewhere, calling someone, or forcing a situation to work, understand this. The delay is intentional. The pause is sacred. You are being redirected away from something that would have cost you far more than you realize. And as this truth settles in, another question begins to rise inside you. If God is slowing you down to protect you, what exactly is He steering you toward? The answer is closer than you think. Sign 4. Your body is speaking the warning. Your spirit already knows. There are moments when your body starts reacting before you have any idea what's happening spiritually. A sudden heaviness sits on your shoulders. A strange pressure settles in your chest. Headaches come and go with no logical explanation. Your energy disappears even on days when nothing bad is happening. And this is where many chosen ones get confused, because the physical symptoms feel real, but the source feels invisible. That's because it is invisible. Chosen ones often experience spiritual shifts in their bodies long before their minds understand the message. When there is hidden warfare around you, when someone is projecting negativity toward your spirit, or when an environment carries spiritual contamination you can't see, your body becomes the first instrument God uses to warn you. Your spirit detects the danger, and your body translates that detection into sensations you cannot ignore. This is why you might feel drained around certain people even if they've said nothing harmful. Or why walking into a particular place instantly steals your focus. Or why your motivation evaporates the moment you start a task God never assigned to you in the first place. These aren't random feelings, they're spiritual signals. God allows chosen ones to feel these physical cues, so they don't stay in spaces where their soul is quietly suffocating. The headache is not always stress. Sometimes it's a barrier your spirit is hitting. The heaviness is not depression. Sometimes it's God blocking you from absorbing someone else's darkness. The sudden lack of motivation is not failure. Sometimes it's heaven pulling your energy away from something that was never part of your destiny. Your body is not betraying you, it's protecting you. It is echoing what your spirit has already discerned. Something here is wrong. And once you begin trusting these signals, your intuition sharpens, your awareness deepens, and your spiritual sensitivity becomes a weapon nobody can disarm. But here's the part that will keep you listening. Because if your body is warning you about what's wrong, imagine what it will signal when what's coming is finally right. Sign 5. Divine Reset. God is quieting your life before a major upgrade. There comes a point in every chosen one's journey when life suddenly becomes quieter, slower, and strangely still. People pull away. Old conversations fade. The noise that once filled your mind begins to dissolve. And at first, you might feel confused, almost abandoned, because everything that used to distract you or occupy your attention is no longer available. But this silence is not emptiness. It is intentional. Before God elevates a chosen one, He performs a divine reset. He shuts down anything that drains your energy, steals your focus, or dilutes your purpose. He reduces the volume of your life so you can finally hear what He's been trying to tell you. Exhaustion becomes the mechanism that forces you to pause, to breathe, to stop pouring yourself into things that were only delaying your breakthrough. When God is preparing you for a higher dimension, He cannot allow unnecessary noise to remain. So He begins to strip away the background sounds, those subtle distractions, those emotional entanglements, those commitments you accepted out of habit rather than calling. And as everything grows quieter, something miraculous starts to happen. Clarity rises. You begin recognizing what matters and what doesn't. You start seeing the difference between who drains you and who strengthens you. Your spirit becomes sharper, your intuition becomes louder, and suddenly the exhaustion you resented becomes the doorway God used to recalibrate your entire life. Because here is the truth: you cannot enter the next level carrying the same mental clutter, emotional noise, or spiritual leaks. Upgrades require focus. Elevation demands purity. Transition requires stillness. So God quiets your world before He multiplies your impact. And the silence you're experiencing is not punishment, it's preparation. It's the atmosphere heaven creates right before something extraordinary unfolds. And deep down, even if you can't explain it, you can feel it. Something in your life is being reset for a reason you're just beginning to glimpse. Sign 6. Heaven is rewriting your path, and your soul is feeling the shift. There are seasons when you wake up, and suddenly the things you once chased no longer excite you. The goals you used to cling to feel strangely distant. The routines that once defined your identity begin to feel too small, too tight, almost like clothes that no longer fit who you are becoming. And while the world might label this as confusion, indecision, or lack of motivation, chosen ones know better. This is what it feels like when heaven starts rewriting your path. When God redirects your destiny, your spirit becomes restless long before your circumstances change. It's an internal rearranging, a quiet dismantling of old desires, old dreams, and old versions of yourself that can't follow you into the next stage of your calling. This discomfort isn't a flaw, it's the spiritual pressure of transformation. You're being pulled away from what's familiar, not because it was wrong, but because it's no longer aligned with the identity God is awakening within you. And the exhaustion you feel during this phase? It's not weakness, it's the weight of becoming. Your soul is adjusting to a higher assignment, a deeper mission, a version of you that will require more clarity, more discipline, and more spiritual awareness than you've ever needed before. Heaven is editing your story in real time, removing chapters that no longer reflect your purpose and writing new ones that you haven't yet imagined. This is why certain desires have evaporated without warning, why you feel disconnected from people you once resonated with, why your energy pulls you away from paths that used to feel safe. You're not falling apart. You're being rewritten, and every time you feel that intense spiritual fatigue, it's a sign of alignment, not collapse. God is shaping your inner world to match the destiny He already declared over your life. Something in you knows you can't return to who you were. Something in you knows you're being prepared for something greater. And as that truth rises inside you, a single question begins to glow in your spirit. If heaven is rewriting your path, what kind of future is preparing to emerge from the pages now turning? Sign 7. Your weariness is actually birth pain before breakthrough. There is a kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from lack of sleep, overworking, or emotional burnout. It comes from something deeper, something ancient, something spiritual. It's the weariness that hits you right before everything in your life shifts. And while it may feel like you're slowing down, falling behind, or losing strength, what's actually happening is far more divine. You are in spiritual labor. The heaviness pressing on your spirit is not a signal of failure. It is the contraction before revelation. The pressure building inside you is not a sign that you're collapsing. It is the force that pushes you into the next dimension of your calling. Chosen ones often feel the most exhausted right before God releases the biggest blessing. You're not tired because you're weak. You're tired because you're becoming. Every breakthrough requires energy, and heaven is preparing to deliver something that will change everything about how you walk, how you think, how you lead, and how you exist. That overwhelming sense of fatigue is your soul stretching to hold more. More wisdom, more authority, more responsibility, more anointing. You're not being drained, you're being expanded. The battle intensifies right before the victory is handed over. The storm grows louder right before the skies open, and the spirit grows weary right before destiny shows up at your door. What feels like your lowest point is often the moment right before divine elevation snaps into place. This is why everything feels heavier. This is why your patience feels thin. This is why your emotions are stretched. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. Something inside you is preparing to be born, and birth is never quiet, never effortless, never painless. But once it arrives, everything makes sense. And as you sit with this truth, your spirit begins to whisper something you didn't expect. If this is the pain before the birth, then what is God about to bring into your life that required this level of spiritual intensity? If you've been carrying a tiredness that sinks into your bones, if you've felt a heaviness that doesn't match what you're going through, if your energy has been shifting in ways you can't put into words, hear this with the highest level of spiritual clarity. You are not breaking down. You are being broken open. God is stretching you so you can hold more. God is slowing you so you won't sabotage what's coming. God is quieting you so you can hear what your spirit has been trying to tell you. What you're feeling is not the collapse of your strength. It is the awakening of your calling. The exhaustion you've been battling is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a sign that heaven is rearranging the architecture of your life. God is shifting your environment, removing hidden threats, exposing false attachments, and preparing you for relationships, assignments, and opportunities that align with the future version of you. You're not losing energy. You're shedding the weights that were never yours to carry. You're not losing desire. You're outgrowing the limits that tried to hold you back. You're not losing direction. You're being redirected toward a purpose that will make sense only once you're standing inside it. Your spirit has already stepped into the next season. Your body is simply catching up to what heaven has already decided. And when God decides a shift, nothing can stop it, delay it, or silence it. Every moment of fatigue, every pause, every strange heaviness, every emotional shakeup, all of it has been part of a divine recalibration. God has been tuning your spirit like an instrument, aligning every frequency of your life with something greater than anything you've experienced before. You are stepping into a version of yourself that will shock the people who underestimated you. You are stepping into blessings that were preserved with your name on them. You are stepping into clarity, discernment, authority, and spiritual maturity that will make your past struggles look like training. This is more than a new chapter. This is a divine unveiling, a spiritual activation, a turning point orchestrated by God Himself. And if you feel this truth vibrating inside your chest, if something in your spirit is whispering, "This is for me," then seal this moment, declare it, anchor it, speak it into existence. Comment, "I receive the shift" below, because those who declare it will walk into it. And once you write those words, understand this. You didn't come to this video by accident. You were called to it, drawn to it, prepared for it. And because you're still here, listening, absorbing, awakening, it means the shift has already begun. You are stepping out of who you were and rising into who God designed you to become. Not tomorrow, not eventually, now.